Hello, everybody. Stretching. Gotta stretch. Welcome to the Squad Room, the podcast. I hope that wasn't your first time listening to this episode and you start off with that. All right, welcome to the Squad Room, the podcast devoted to creating and optimizing a healthy and fulfilling life for first responders all around the world. I'm your host, Garrett Tesla. I'm a sergeant for a sheriff's department in Southern California, and I talk to experts in a variety of fields on this show looking for force multipliers that I can apply to my own life, lessons I can learn, things I can tease out. What can make me happier and healthier? How do we tackle these challenging careers with energy and focus? The entire purpose of this podcast is to make myself better. And trust me, there's a lot of room for improvement. But my point is that I'm trying to learn these things and then I share it all with you. Before we get to the interview, I want to remind you that we can get more information. I already have this information. You can get this information. I've had way too much coffee. You can get the information on this episode and including our guests, show notes, and links to their website at thesquadroom.net. You can also subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Squad Room. Our guest today is Shelby Luttrell of Bulletproof Fitness. Shelby has a really interesting story and his recovery. Shelby was shot. He's a police officer in Alabama, and he was shot. But what was interesting to me when I was learning more about Shelby before he came on, he wasn't in the line of duty. He was off duty. And how that might have been a little bit of a different dynamic of, you go to work, you strap on your vest, you strap on your gun belt, and there is something, at least in my mind, there's something that clicks every day. Part of that ritual is the acknowledgement of the potential for that happening. And but it's not the kind of thing that I think about typically on a day off, right? And you might say, oh, I'm running around in condition white, but that's not what I mean. There's always a potential for violence, and as first responders, especially cops, I think we are keyed into those things more often than not. But we certainly don't expect it off duty as much as we expect it on duty. And we really don't expect it at our wife's surprise birthday party, like Shelby experienced. So I thought it was interesting talking to him about it and how he relates the training he went through in law enforcement and how that he immediately pulled from that to survive what could very well have been a fatal injury. He's got a really interesting story. And then after that, this was only 7 months ago too, by the way, 7 months from recording date, was he was shot in the stomach and the arm. And his recovery from that and how he's decided to now use that as inspiration for other cops. And you can follow his Instagram page, which is at bulletproof.fitness. And you can see his progression. And that's someone who reposted one of his photos, and that's how I tracked him down in this story. And I thought, wow, it would be really interesting to share. So it's got an interesting story. So here we are with Shelby Luttrell. Shelby Luttrell, famous on Instagram. I'm going to say famous on Instagram for your webpage, Bulletproof Fitness on Instagram. Welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We've been trying to catch up for a little bit. I saw you because like a lot of guys, I'm kind of addicted to the Instagram and the socials and all that, and I got to get better about not being on it. But one of the good things about it was I saw somebody repost one of your posts and was blown away by not only by your story but by your progression and recovery. So I wanted to get into that, and I reached out to you and was like, man, I think it'd be a really good conversation to have, a really inspiring conversation to have to motivate others. But I want to go back a little bit and just kind of talk about who you are and where you grew up and what got you to the point where you eventually became a police officer. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, man. I was actually born in California myself. So, but we moved here to Alabama when I was about 3, so I don't remember much about it. I always wanted to get into law enforcement, but never really persuaded much to get my foot in the door till probably around 2013. I actually got fired from a job that I worked at for 3 years. It's Louisiana Pacific. It was a wood plant, and man, it was one of them hard labor jobs, and just hard. Something I didn't know if I was going to be at the rest of my life or not, but that kind of went ahead and pushed me to go ahead and jump into being a police officer, and it was about a 6-month hiring process I went through with Jasper Police Department before I finally got the chance to get hired and go to the police academy. From there, I went to started working part-time with another police department. There was a chief there, and he said, that I really caught his attention because out of the 6 guys that come out of the academy, I was like pretty much the most advanced, and that really just took off and knew a lot about the job and done it really good. So he wanted me to come work there for him, and I started there part-time. And then eventually I left Jasper and I went to Cordova Police Department full-time. I had my own take-home vehicle, I had my own office and everything. They paid me more, and it was a smaller town. But so while I was there, I went we went to SWAT school and started up a team. I was I did a lot of training for them, and that's one of the best parts about it to me is it's being able to go in the houses and cut down on drugs. But from then on, I went to NRA firearms instructor school, so I'm an NRA firearms instructor now. I went to several other like investigations classes and different stuff like that. So I've got about 9-10 different certifications and things just from going to a smaller town and being able to take different opportunities to go there.
So I want to back up a little bit because I thought this is going to be interesting to me. Is you said you wanted to be an officer from an early age, but you were working in this plant that you eventually got fired from. Probably a good thing for you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what was it though that you didn't launch right into police work out of high school or out of college, that you took this different path? Was there what was holding you up?
Well, I don't know. I guess one of them things, not believing yourself. Not one of them things you always want to do, but think it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially back in my younger days, I was pretty much on the other side of the law. I was always in trouble and running. You know how it is when you're in high school and stuff. So, never really thought I would be much of the type to get hired, and then because I figured they all knew me. But at the same time, it also helped. When I did become a police officer, I knew what I was doing, what to look for, and how the other side was thinking. So that helped a lot as well.
Well, sometimes I find too, if you've had some adversity, you're easy. It's easier for you to approach the job with maybe some maturity at some point where you understand the dynamic a little better. So describe what kind of department, what kind of area you're in there with Cordova.
What kind of department I'm in now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm only there part-time because of my incident where, back in December, about 6 months ago, I got shot twice by a 45 cal. But
yeah, we'll get into that whole story.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm there part-time right now. I can't get out in the streets full-time due to some of my injuries still. But I actually am at Alabama Power full-time doing security there. And, I mean, it's a lot better pay, a lot better, like, on down the road, that stuff you can just keep on advancing up and up, which in policing is what got me there, got me in that job. Because, everybody works for the power company around here. It's good money and good company. But, so becoming a police officer and getting all the training I did get, got me to where I'm at today. So I really appreciate it. And I do all the firearms qualifications. I do all the SWAT team training stuff still. And I teach classes there for civilians. And, I'll go work investigation on cases and stuff. Or when they, we do a call out for a drug raid or something. I still do the evidence tech stuff in that as well. So there's still a lot of stuff I can get out and do and help. I just, because of my injuries, I'm not allowed to get out on the streets and do stuff like that yet.
All right, so let's talk about that. Describe, tell me the story of the night that this all went down.
Well, it was December 17th. I had my son's birthday party. We was there. We live in these apartments, and we have this building that we go to. and they can, we rent it out and have a little birthday party in there. Well, we still had it for that night, and my my son, we got a babysitter for him, and we had my wife's surprise birthday party that night because the birthdays were like 4 days apart. But so we was over there and had a surprise birthday party, and everybody's just hanging out, and this guy comes up. He's stalking his ex-girlfriend that's there with, she's friends with my wife, and he come in the building, and then he took off, and he was cussing my wife and some other people out, and took off down the road to the dead end, and turned around and come pretty close to us and parked. So, my mind said, I'm walking down there, I'm going to ask him to leave. I don't want him to come back and start anything. So I go down there and I'm telling him, look, man, you need to get out of here. You don't need to be talking to my wife like that, and he this and that. And he's like, I got you. And, I see him raise his shirt up, and he starts pulling a gun out. Well, I'm not too close to him. I'm close enough to react. So I dove and kind of picked him up and landed on the ground with him, trying to get the gun, and he ended up firing 4 times, and one went in my stomach and one went through my right arm. I didn't even know I was hitting the arm until I, woke up in the hospital after surgery. But it went straight through, right beside my elbow, actually.
And shot. And you said the other one was shot in the stomach?
Yeah, the other one went in my stomach, and it went to my left, and it's still lodged in my back and the lower back muscle. You can actually see it bulging out and feel it. But in the emergency surgery, they didn't find it. They said that they found it in the x-rays after, but they didn't find it during, and now they wouldn't go back in and take it out. But it's getting better and feeling all right now anyways.
And how long ago was this?
This was December 17th, so it was, about June, almost 7 months now. Well, so, 6.5 months.
So just 7 months ago. What was going through your mind when you were struggling for that gun?
Man, I don't remember much going through my mind when I was reaching for it. I think more of because it happened so fast. I mean, I remember diving, and I remember next thing was shots going off, and I after 4 shots, it stopped, and everything was just kind of paused, and I was blindly fighting for the gun, and I couldn't see. I don't know. I guess I just went blind, and I remember thinking, "Oh man, I hope I didn't get hit. I hope I didn't get shot." And I was thinking in my mind, just wishing I could just go back to where we was before this happened, and, and none of this happened. Like it was a dream, Mm-hmm. And so I feel my left leg go numb, and I kind of fell back, and I lifted my shirt up because I almost felt my stomach burning. I lifted my shirt up, and I seen a hole right under my belly button, and I kind of just fell back and didn't move. Luckily, my brother was there, and he finished, getting the guy off and threw him down the hill. And I remember the guy ended up coming back. I don't know where the gun was at the time, but he started picking some stuff up around us. I think he was trying to act clean the scene up like he wasn't there. And I was just, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even hardly move, and my wife and my brother were sitting there by my side, so I don't even think they really thought much about it. But he picked up what he wanted to pick up and took off, and which the police found him about 4 hours later hiding in a barn somewhere.
So what were the first thoughts? What were the first thoughts that went through your head when you realized you were shot?
My son and my wife. I thought that was gonna be the last time I seen them. And I don't know, something triggered me right then. You're not going. You're going to stay here. You're going to fight through this and make it. And man, it's you always hear on the movies people you got to fight for your life. You got to fight to live. It's situations like that, and it's a true feeling. It's one of them things. It's probably the hardest thing I ever done in my life was was fight to survive that. You know, you got to go in a whole other mindset. Which, and I don't think if it wasn't for my training in policing, I don't even know if I would have survived that. You know, I probably would have freaked out and panicked and went unconscious and probably wouldn't have woke up or would stop breathing or something. I feel like my training really helped a lot with focusing on staying calm. Because believe it or not, man, I was the calmest one there. Getting shot, and I was just. I remember my wife said that I told her just put her hands on there. I said just put some pressure on it, hold right there, and she said I was just relaxed and calm and talking and laughing. I don't know how. I mean, they say in your training, when a situation happens like that, all the blood and everything comes into your inside to protect all your organs and everything inside you. And it leaves your limbs, it leaves your brain and everything. So you have what's called the midbrain, and in a situation like that, it's called the puppy brain. And so that brain is only going to do what it's been trained to do. And I really think that's what saved my life, was having that training, that background, so that puppy brain could take over and do what it had to do.
Well, what was it specifically? What kind of training did you go through? Was it the EMTs, the first responder medical aid stuff, or was there a will to survive class that you had taken, or part of the academy that was instilled in you, like will to fight? What was it?
I'd say a little bit of all. I mean, the academy, and then just being in police, period. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we do training ourselves, and then I've taken. I went to DEA school for 2 weeks. I went to the SWAT school and different medical classes. So all that, we went over in situations on how to survive, how to apply tourniquets to yourself, how to stay in the fight and just keep going. And and just in regular training itself, for us being police, when we train, we don't die. Like, you get shot with a sim round or something, you keep going. You don't fall over and, oh, I'm hit.
Yeah.
So just having that mindset really, I think, showed a lot.
So did you ever find out what your survival expectancy was that night?
I heard later on one of the police officers said that the RPS, the EMS said that my vitals were dropping when they were leaving, that they didn't think that I was gonna make it.
Really?
And man, believe it or not, I stayed awake the whole time. I never passed out or anything. I was there, but towards the end, I kind of wasn't. I think because of the pain. Mm-hmm. I remember about halfway to the hospital, because we went from Jasper to Birmingham, which is about a 45-minute drive. I remember halfway there, I told him, I said, listen, I said, I think my stomach's filling up with blood. I said, I don't think, I think I'm about to go. And the RPS, my wife said the RPS guy was freaking out. He told the driver, and you need to step on it and get there. I just felt my stomach was getting really big and bulging out, and I just thought I was losing too much blood internally. And that was my biggest fear at the time, was I could not be able to stop that, because I wasn't bleeding much on the outside. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think staying calm and controlling my breath and my breathing and all, and then this helped a lot with that. Not panicking, not causing myself to lose more blood, not causing myself to lose more oxygen. Just little things like that is gonna help survive.
So you were really conscious and mindful of stuff like like breath control.
Oh yeah, I was able to remember a lot at the time on what to do to survive and kind of stay in the fight. Now that I think back on it, I'm I wonder if I could have got up and actually finished doing something, or making sure I could protect myself a little more. But man, it all happened so fast. I just I think my leg going numb and my right hand still numb was probably the biggest thing of that, throwing me kind of off. But I've got some bad nerve damage still from all that.
So what ended up being what damage did you end up incurring inside?
Inside they ended up cutting about a foot off my small intestines, and that was it. It was a miracle, man. They couldn't believe that, you know, it went to the left of my spine, maybe an inch or two. That's another reason they kind of scared. Like, they didn't want to take it out too, but like, I mean, it's just such a blessing. I couldn't believe it. Like, missed my spine. I mean, I could have easily been dead, but I could have very easily been paralyzed.
Yeah, very. Yeah. And so that you have this bullet lodged in you now that it's too dangerous for them to go back in and get it out.
Yeah, they said they would probably end up doing more damage than it already is, and it's too close to my spine, so they definitely don't want to do that. And I've kind of, the first 3 months I was like, look, I want to get this taken out.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to do something. They wouldn't do it. And now, I mean, I've been back. I've been in the gym every day. You can see from the pictures of the results. I mean, I've been back doing deadlifts. I do squats. I do bench. I mean, I do it. There's nothing I can't do in the gym so far besides run. No, I can't do as much as I used to, of course. I've got nerve damage in my left front quad, which pretty much I can't feel any of that. And I can't really activate the muscle on it. I can feel the little muscle down about my knee and my hamstring, but that's about it on that. And then my right hand, I don't feel my third finger and my pinky all the way down to my wrist. All that's numb, and my hands kind of starting to deteriorate and lose everything in it. It's getting real small and skinny. But when I work out, I use a strap on that side to hold the weight, especially on pull days or even push, because it hurts my hand so bad having some weight on it.
And that's from the damage from the shot in the elbow.
It is. They severed the nerves that go down to that hand. I can move the fingers still, but I don't have strength in them and all to do much.
So grip strength is a challenge.
Yes, it is. And I used to shoot perfect hundreds. I'm being a firearm instructor and all, but now it dropped my score down to a 94. I've been shooting solid 94s. I can't get past it.
And is it your strong hand? Is it your gun hand that was injured?
Yeah, it is. It's something with that finger, man. I don't have that perfect control over it. I lost all my fine motor skills in that hand pretty much. I mean, I couldn't even start my vehicle for the first few months.
Yeah.
I can't even unlock my house door still.
Do they think that it's something that'll come back, or something that you've lost? Because I know that a lot of times nerve damage. I've had nerve damage from surgeries, and you've got like for one I had kind of a constant numbness, tingling for several months, and it was very scary. But they were right; it slowly came back. Are you hopeful that that'll come back, or have you been told that to be expecting that for the rest of your life?
I hope it does. They said that it might. If it does, it might be 2 to 3 years. If it even starts coming back. But they said, they thought that was about half the chance of happening with the severity of the nerves. They think the right one, I mean, my hand might come back sooner, but I don't know right now, man. I think that one just got completely severed. And the one in it severed 5 nerves in my stomach that go down to my leg. So, it has, I don't know about the chances on it coming back. I know it's a pretty big area, to cover for 5 of them to be hit.
Yeah.
Especially going to a main leg like that.
What's your daily pain level?
I do it on and off. I would say, I mean, it gets up to about an 8, but it's normally around a 5. And, the doctors try to put me on pain medication. I tell them that's just not me. I don't do stuff like that. And they try to write me for like 3 to 5 a day. And I'm like, no, And so they gave me a few, and I said, well, if it ever gets too bad and I can't bear it anymore, that'd be the only time I'd ever take one. But really, for me, man, the gym is my I guess you could say the gym is my drug. It's what gets me through the pain and helps me somehow. I mean, a lot of people think it would hurt me worse, but I don't know, me being active and getting in there, and I guess releasing the endorphins and all that just really helps a lot and blocks the pain as well.
It's interesting. I was going to ask, is it a mental thing, just getting that? The stress of going through what you went through has to be intense,
It
and
is.
the gym is often used as a way to relieve stress. So I was wondering if that was it, or if it was that the gym literally does take the pain away.
Well, it's always been one of my main hobbies. I mean, I've always been in the gym ever since I can remember. And man, it's like my escape. So not only is it something I love to do, but especially after getting shot, man, it helps with the pain. It helps clear my mind. Because I mean, I ain't gonna lie. There for a while, I thought I was, gonna go crazy or something, because it's just so much going through my mind. Just so much, like, just knowing I could have been gone with just the snap of my fingers. I mean, it's probably the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life, of course, but it puts a lot on my mind and a lot of stress on me, and just thinking about how easily I could have, my son would grow up without a father, and my wife had to be here without me and everything. So, and then still dealing with the issues of, how court's going to go and all that stuff in the air, still in process of that, just waiting to get it over with. So a lot of it's stressful, and going to the gym really just pretty much helps me stay sane.
Yeah, you're only 7 months out from this, and you've still got, like you just mentioned, that this hasn't been adjudicated yet. But
Yeah.
he's in custody still. Is that, I hope?
Well, that's the thing, man. I'm supposed to go to grand jury sometime to get the other charges added to them, because our lovely detectives and DA didn't get the attempted murder charge on them. They want to go through grand jury with it. He's got the assault first on him, and he should have, shooting occupied drilling, because one of the bullets went in a apartment, and I mean, there'll be a few other charges they can add on him, but he's on house arrest right now, so he can't go anywhere besides work or church or, to court. And he tried to go back about a month and a half ago. They was wanting to change his bond agreement, and so I went to court too and talked to the judge, and they said no, he's not going anywhere. He's staying on house arrest. So, that's a little better. I mean, I'm not really scared of him coming back or anything and doing anything. I'm just more, worried about if he tried to do something like that. I'm gonna, this time I'm gonna be ready. I have to react to it, and I don't want that to be something to deal with.
Yeah, this is you're not in a huge city, so this must be an area where, I'm not in a very big city at the moment either, and people know each other, and family, friends, whatever. There's only so many degrees of separation. This was an ex-boyfriend of a friend of your wife's. You must. I don't want to say you run in the same social circles, but
no,
you
but
must,
still a small town.
yeah, you must be likely to run into him or hear about him. Is this?
Oh, easily.
One thing I'm always curious about with people is your feelings towards this guy, and I have to think that you're pissed, right? And,
Yeah.
angry, and but I think any adult would realizes too that anger doesn't really get you anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you manage that, or how are you struggling with that, or how are you mitigating that?
man, for the first, it's been a big struggle. I'll say that. For the first few months, I really had probably the worst thoughts you can have of doing. I'm sure you know what I mean. And
Sure.
and my wife really got me back in church. And ever since I survived, I mean, it was a miracle. I mean, so I was thanking God. Everybody was praying. I was getting in church, and that's my biggest way of how I turn that around. And so I don't really have that hatred or that wish he was dead type feeling. I have more of, I'm gonna pray for him and hope he can turn his life around, because I'm not the first one he's pulled a gun out on. I'm probably just the first one that done something about it. But he had a menacing charge a few months before that, and actually the guy just, I guess he put his hands up or ran off. It was over a girl too as well. So in my case, I guess being a police officer, someone puts a gun in my face, I'm not just gonna stand there and run. I mean, that's not how I was trained. That's not how I react. So it's more to me like, I'm gonna react within before I even think about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm impressed though that you're able to manage that anger and transfer that into efforts to see how lacking his life is.
Yeah.
How something is so wrong with his life that it went to this versus that. What
Yeah.
I think would be really easy to do is focus on the anger, the resentment, the frustration that he has caused, and then that sends you down a downward spiral, right? I mean, if you allow that to enter into into the equation.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely something that I still struggle with, but going to church and keeping all that in mind, it just really helps a lot. Being able to just say, I'm gonna pray for you instead of I'm gonna wish bad things upon you. But I mean, like you said, you're surprised, and I know it is a surprise. Surprise myself, and I really don't even. I'm sure a lot of other people wouldn't understand, how how you can turn that around and not, wish the other side on it.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Oh
So, the immediate aftermath of this, how long did you spend in the hospital?
yeah. That's the crazy thing, man. I was only in there for maybe 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's on the short end. I mean,
Five. Right.
I
I'm not
spent.
sure. I was out the first two.
Yeah, yeah. And any surgeries other than the ones that had to be the emergency surgery, other than
They just
that?
done the emergency surgery where they cut me from below my belly button all the way up to my chest, and um, they was talking about maybe having to do surgery on the hand one day if they can do anything for that, uh, but other than that, that's only surgery there was. Somebody said they had to resuscitate me at one time. I didn't hear much about that, but like I said, I was out the first 2 days, uh, so I'm not sure on what all happened there, but I just know somehow I lived. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. I was just like, I thought it was a dream. I woke up and I remember seeing nurses and in the hospital, so I was like, I'm going back to sleep. Like, this ain't right. Uh, Woke up again. It still happened. I fell back asleep, and it's because they had me on the pain medicine. I didn't know why I kept passing out. Then I woke up again, and then I realized, I had tubes down my throat. I had stuff rolling everywhere, and I was just like, "What's going on?" Like, then it all come back to me. I mean, I didn't know it was real. Like, I don't know, either there must have been some good meds, or I was just, from being out for 2 days. They said they tried to wake me up the first day, and I kept trying to take the tubes out of my throat and everything, so they had to keep me sedated till I was, I guess, would say calm enough.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
the thing the post that I mentioned that got me intrigued by your story was seeing how you have recovered from this event, right? And you mentioned the gym as an outlet, but you've really turned that around and turned that into leading by example and being an example to other law enforcement officers, and you've moved into a lot of into that coaching space, right?
Yeah.
So tell us
You
about what
know,
you're doing now with Bulletproof Fitness.
okay. So, I got back in the gym and I started making tremendous results. I looked at it as, look, I'm starting over again. I almost didn't go back. I was depressed. I was sitting on the couch. I couldn't move. Couldn't even get up by myself. Couldn't even, make it to the bathroom to feed myself. Um, so I was, depressed and thought, I start over again. Because back in 2014, I had a bad motorcycle wreck. So that was a setback as well. So I was thinking, here it is again. I got to start over on everything I just got. And, well, the owner of the gym, he's a good guy. They took up donations for me and everything. And he told me, he said, no, he said, you're going to get back in here and I'm going to help you get back on your feet. And, so, he he's also a personal trainer too. But my mind not being as clear and kind of hazed, he put me through some stuff and got me back. Got my confidence back, my testosterone levels back up, and all that. Just by being in there working out and getting moving and getting blood flow and eating right and everything. So I thought to myself, look, so I'm gonna do this right this time. I'm gonna put myself on a meal plan. I'm gonna put myself on a workout plan because I've always for years I went in there, I ate whatever, I've worked out whatever, and I've got results and I was good size, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. I wasn't shredded or as strong as I wanted to be, and so it surprised me not only coming back from where I came from, making the comeback of getting shot, but what the meal plan and workout plan done. Like, if you follow something strict and, I done went and got certified and I went through and done, some courses and I've done research for years and years and trial and error pretty much on how this works, what this works, or, this didn't work too well, so I'm not going to do it, and it really, I was able to finally start a business on it. And when I started out, I wasn't doing personal training in the gym. I don't have enough time for that. I do online training. So what that is, I pretty much go and tell you pretty much like, I'm going to count up all your macros. It's going to be based off your personal numbers. So every plan is personalized. It's through your age, your height, your weight, your body fat percentage, what your goals are, how many times a week you can work out, what your job is, how active you are, if you're a beginner or you advanced into the workouts, what you can do and what you can't, all that. I have a form I send, they fill it out, and it tells me all that information, and I'm able to sit down. I'm gonna write up a plan and count your basal metabolic rate on, what how many calories you would burn at rest, which is based off, the person's age, gender, height, and weight. And then I'm gonna, I'll take on how many calories you need to take in, and what your goals are, if you need to do a deficit or a surplus. Take your macros, which is your protein, carbs, and fats, and count up on what that person needs to eat throughout the day. Like, how the portions they need to eat, when they need to eat it, how many meals they need to eat. And a lot of people think, I'm just going to starve myself and lose weight. It's the exact opposite. You starve yourself, your body's going to hold and retain everything it has because it's going to think it's not going to get it, so it's going to have to use it to fuel off of, so it's going to keep it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. So if you actually eat more meals, it's going to increase your metabolism, and then also just doing cardio after your workout is going to increase your BMR, and that's when you're really going to start getting into using your fat to fuel off of and shred off of. And people think they cut the fats out from eating the healthy fats and they're going to lose weight, but that's the opposite too, because you got to eat your fats to lose the fats. Like, if you're not putting any in your body, then again, it's going to keep what it has because it thinks it's not going to get them. So if his body gets used to fueling off of them, once they're gone, it's going to move to your fat and start fueling off of it.
Sure.
So basically, there's a lot of research on what that person wants to do and needs to do. I mean, I've had people who's lost 15 pounds in a week and 30 in a month. I've had people that's gained 15 pounds in 2 to 5 weeks, it depending on if they wanted to muscle up and get strong and big, or if they want to shred up, or they can do both, man. You can, people think you can't lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, but you can. I have a lot of people that tell me, I'm losing the inches, but I'm not losing the weight. So I have to explain to them, well, muscle weighs more than fat. You're losing the fat, but you're gaining the muscle in it, which is what you wanted to do. So that's the results you're getting. And then I go into the workouts. I tell them what workout they need to do on what day, what muscle groups. You don't want to work your primary against your secondaries and then the next day train the other one. You're going to end up doing more damage than good. Go back, from heavy loads to high volumes mixing all that up on how you need to, pretty much on what their goals are. So I just want to tell them what muscle group to do, when to do it, what sets to do, how many reps. And then it includes abs and cardio and all that good stuff.
So what's one of the? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. When I started out, I used it as my name, Shelby Luttrell Fitness, and I was sitting there thinking, and, it was just kind of something I wanted to try and see how it would do, because I've always wanted to be a personal trainer, always, along with policing, because those are two of my main things. And so when I started out, I said, people don't want to wear shirts that says my name or do this and that. So I come up with a catchy name, Bulletproof Fitness, and I thought it fit pretty well for my incident. And a lot of people, I think some people just started getting attention just because of the name,
Yeah, no, I think in your case it's probably the most appropriate title. So, what are some? So, this is something that I ask a lot of people, but the shift work and the sleep deprivation and that sort of stuff, those are things that are not unique to law enforcement, but you had that high stress environment, and that is pretty unique. What are the things? What are the challenges for the cops you work with that the hardest things for them to overcome to get the momentum to move forward?
Man, the hardest thing to overcome is the best all-known excuse is I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
People say they don't have time to work out. And of course, with our line of job, you're working your regular job, you're working overtime details, and you're doing more. Anything to make the money, because police don't pay enough. They don't hear anyways. I'm sure they don't worry why, but so, we work many jobs, right? And, it is hard to find the time, but it's really what's important to you. And I try to tell all police, working out, it should be one of the most important things for your job, because, one day you're going to need it. You might be out there by yourself and not be able to get to a tool on your belt. And, you're going to need to be able to handle it and keep yourself from getting killed or highly injured. And, and also just being in shape. If you get gassed and you can't even move because you're so tired, you're just a sitting duck, So
yeah.
I try to explain that to a lot of people and get law enforcement involved. And, I give law enforcement a discount. I usually give them all half off, along with fire departments and the EMS. Just because, I want them to get in it that bad and stay with it and change their life. And if you can get them to get over that number one excuse, I don't have time, then, once they get in there and they start seeing results, and, I got my partner, for example. I couldn't get him in the gym for about a year, and you can ask him, I didn't give up. He finally came just because he was tired of hearing me ask him to come to the gym. Once I got him in there, man, he was hooked within like 3 days. Hey, he wasn't stopping. And he put on, he's one of those, he couldn't gain weight, and he ate all the time, and so I put him on a meal plan and a workout plan, which he worked out with me. So he gained about 20 pounds within the first few weeks, and he got strong and got a lot bigger, and about time for you to get a new uniform now. But and so this is one of them things, if you can find, get them in there, get them started, if with anybody, they're gonna get hooked, and they're gonna love seeing the results. You feel better, you get, your confidence is boosted, your testosterone levels are going to rise. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. You're going to eat better, of course, and just live a healthier life. Better run around and play with the kids. Better do your job, more safely and productively, because you're not going to be so tired dragging around. So to me, that's the most important thing about it.
Where can people learn more about you, find out how to connect up with you on the socials and on your programs?
They can go to my Facebook is bulletprooffitness.com, and my Instagram is oh, I say .com. I meant Bulletproof Fitness. My Instagram is also called Bulletproof Fitness, so you can find me on either one of those. And if you wanted to see my personal Facebook page, it's Shelby Luttrell. Luttrell is Luttrell. I know that's usually a hard name to spell. But it, and then both of those pages have a link to go to my website as well. So between the three of them, they got all the information you can see on there, and the different transformations from people I've taken, and still ain't been on doing the online program not too long now. So still, I've got a lot of people that has started and not got their ending results in yet. That's why I've got about 5 different clients on there. You can see their results, but there's going to be a lot more to come to just show how good it works and all the crazy results they're making. I mean, these people surprise me sometimes. I'm just like, wow, I know how it works and how it is with me, but I didn't, they went in there and put about 120% in.
Mm-hmm. And to clarify too, your Instagram is at bulletproof .fitness or .fitness. Just
That's right. Yeah.
And we'll post show notes, or we'll post links to all of your stuff in the show notes too. So if someone wants to go to thesquadroom.net,
okay, awesome.
If they can't find you there, they can find the links at thesquadroom.net for your episode, and they can find you there. Shelby, thanks for your time, man. What a story! Being shot through the stomach, feeling like you. Fighting through that, feeling that you're dying, and then the recovery and coming back. The reason I thought it would be fun to have you on again is that Instagram and how you're posting these photos of your recovery and then your training, and it's like one of those. It's a cliche at this point, but I look at your posts sometimes, and then I think well, I got no excuse, so get up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell people a lot of times. I just, I don't feel like it. I explain to them what I'm doing and what I went through. Like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't have an excuse then.
Right, exactly. All right, Shelby, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening to The Squad Room. If you like what you heard from Shelby, if you got something out of this conversation, please consider leaving a review on iTunes. I read each and every one, and it helps spread the word about the show. It helps people learn about it. And if you heard something that you think a friend or a loved one needs to hear, please tell them about the show. You can go to thesquadroom.net, and you can actually email this episode directly to someone. To keep up to date, you can text The Squad Room, all one word, to 44222 to get signed up for our mailing list directly from your phone. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Squad Room or on Facebook. Just search for The Squad Room. You'll find us. Our job's tough. It's tougher than anything we can put into a few words. If you want to reach out, have a question, start a conversation, you can email me, Garrett at thesquadroom.net. That's 2 R's, 2 T's. And lastly, I want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Audible.com. With over 180,000 titles in their inventory, Audible has hundreds of audiobooks that apply to us. If it's a slow shift or a long commute, audiobooks are a great way to continue your education and get some more knowledge, which is all what this is about, right, people? To get your free 30-day trial and free audiobook of your choice, go to audibletrial.com/thesquadroom to sign up. Until next time, take care of each other and stay safe.